Squidward. This is the best souffle you have ever created. Oh, congratulations, chef.
You might think that SpongeBob is a nearly perfect show, but do you know that it has many animation errors? Well, in case you didn't know, here we are to show you some of them. So get ready, because here are some animation errors that we have found in SpongeBob SquarePants. Number 1. GRANDMUM'S the Word. Who doesn't want to impress his grandma? In this episode, Plankton receives a special visit from one of his most beloved family members, his grandma. Well, Grandma Plankton decided to pay a visit to her grandson to celebrate her 90th birthday. But such an important celebration needs a great location. What plan did Plankton's evil mind create for this occasion? As a familiar oath, Plankton promised his grandma that he would own the Krusty Krab by the time she reaches 90, so he has to lie to her and fulfill his desire. For once, Mr. Krabs decided to collaborate with Plankton and give him control of the Krusty Krab, even if it was for a couple of days. Now that you know about the episode, let's look at some scenes. It is not the first time that we see some typing errors on some signs of the Krusty Krab, especially related to the Krabby Patties. Were you able to catch the error on this one? In the sign that says Galley Grub, the name of Bikini Bottom's most famous hamburger has a spelling error. Instead of saying Krabby Patty with a Y, it says Krabby Patty with an I. Well, maybe animators forgot the name of one of their best creations. This might not be the first time we see this error, but we chose this episode today. Let's move on with some more content. Adoring an old plankton lady may look like nightmare fuel, but do you find any errors on this one? Well, when all the Bikini Bottomites are adoring Plankton's grandma, we see that Mr. Krabs loses his eyelashes. This is a typical error in this series, but a cool one nonetheless. Number 2, there's a sponge in my soup. Do you know that there's one new dish in the Krusty Krab menu? In this episode, Mr. Krabs wants to open the winter season with a brand new product on his menu, a soup to warm people on cold winter nights. This attracts many new customers, including a group of bohemian and hippie fish that come to conquer the restaurant. This not only raises the money that the Krusty Krab gets, but also gives SpongeBob a new bunch of funny friends to share adventures with. Even if this episode is funny, it also has some errors. Let's look at them. SpongeBob has a great talent for cooking new dishes, but did you find anything strange in this scene? When SpongeBob jumps into the soup, we see that he's swimming with all his newest companions and all the ingredients. We see that there's some tomato inside the soup. This is strange because there's not a single moment in which SpongeBob uses tomatoes to cook the soup. Maybe animators wanted to give their own twist to this fantastic dish. We found one very curious error regarding this episode, but this is not an animation error. There's a moment in which Mr. Krabs says that he's closing the Krusty Krab, but in the Malay dub, this is wrong because he says, "I am closing the Krabby Patty." Even if we don't include these kinds of errors in every video, we thought that this was a great opportunity to do so. Number 3, the gift of gum. What would be the perfect present if you had to give one to your best friend? In this episode, Patrick decided that the best way to demonstrate his friendship with SpongeBob was to give him a very big glob of gum for Best Friends Day. This sounds funny, right? The story also involves a robotic butler scaring SpongeBob and many other funny details that we don't want to spoil for you because we want you to enjoy the full SpongeBob experience. Let's watch some scenes, shall we?
Best Friends Day, Best Friends Day, Best Friends Day, Best Friends Day!
Patrick! Happy best friend! Whoa.
Maybe Patrick had some superpowers, or at least that's what it looks like in this scene. After looking at this scene a couple of times, we discovered that something special was happening in this frame where Patrick is rolling his big bag of gum. Well, we invite you to take a small look at his feet here. If you thought that Patrick's feet aren't touching the ground while he's running, congratulations, because you're right on this one. Patrick can't stop to surprise everyone.
Wait, Sandy. The more you touch it, the angrier it gets.
Oh, that's just crazy talk.
SpongeBob and Patrick's friendship might be the protagonist of this episode, but do you know what happens to Sandy in this scene? Well, this is a pretty hard error to find, and it cost us multiple times of re-watching to catch it. So let's explain it. When Sandy lifts her arm, there is a strange detail on her spacesuit. If you look at the suit closely, the color from the bars that are wrapped around Sandy's arm change for a brief frame. This one was for absolute experts. Number 4, naughty nautical neighbors. Do you know that Squidward very nearly ended SpongeBob and Patrick's friendship in the very first season of the show? After getting very angry with both of our main protagonists over laughing about a fantastic souffle that he made one beautiful morning, Squidward decided that he had had enough of SpongeBob and Patrick's jokes and laughs. And what's a better plan to end this than to break their friendship? Squidward for sure has an evil mind, but will he achieve that? We leave the pleasure of discovering that to you. Now let's jump into some cool scenes.
Hi, Patrick.
Lately, socks have jumped in priority when we are talking about fashion. Did you find something strange in SpongeBob's socks? We're calling you fashion experts. Well, in case you haven't found anything, there is a small frame in which SpongeBob's socks are missing a couple of the colored stripes they usually have. SpongeBob is a true fashion icon, but this is not the only scene we've rescued from this old episode. This detail might be here because this is one of the first SpongeBob episodes to ever be created, but don't you miss something on that window? Well, this might be strange, but in this scene, SpongeBob's windows don't have any glass on them, even if they're opened. Also, SpongeBob's eyelashes are missing on this one. Older episodes have lots of cool details. Number 5. SpongeBob has always been so concerned with the environment, but this episode left him to embrace his more natural side. Tired of the stress that his normal life causes him, SpongeBob decides that it's time to abandon all his material possessions and follow one of his dreams, to be like a jellyfish and live in the utmost wilderness. He just wants to be one with nature itself. Such a wild adventure came with some spicy scenes, so let's watch them.
What have I done? I had a great life and friends, and I gave all of that up.
Welcome home, SpongeBob!
You guys are the best. I made a huge mistake. Please forgive me.
Something about Patrick looks weird in this scene, right? Well, after watching SpongeBob's comeback at the end of the episode, we noticed that Patrick undergoes a significant change in this concrete scene. If you look closely at his face when SpongeBob is entering his house and everyone greets him, Patrick loses his mouth for a couple of frames. Poor Patrick, he might have screamed too much on this one.
Here, Patrick, have a Krabby Patty. There he is, Patrick. Say you're live.
Why, thank you, Sandy.
Sandy also seems to undergo some changes in this episode. In case you didn't pay enough attention to Sandy's neck, there is something special happening to that part of her body. What's the mystery behind this scene? Well, if you're a longtime fan of the show, you will know that Sandy's neck usually has a dark brown tone, but in this scene, her color is similar to the one from her cheeks. Such a cool detail to find. Well, there you have it, SpongeBob fans. These are some animation errors that we were able to find in your favorite show. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel so we can provide you with even more SpongeBob content. Goodbye!